need to remember my wife Olga. She used to take Captain with me and walk around Fresh Pond every day. And this is the way she would come down with the dog. Come down here, and oftentimes she would sit on a bench over there with Romana and a clearing over there. Romana and Olga and Romana's dogs would be there. They just sit away and chat, talk about very important things. And so this was a very special place for me. And when that's the only way the three of my kids, Romana and Scott and Paul, had said, hey, how about building a bench for Mommy at Fresh Pond? So that's a great idea. Because she loved that other bench so much, we were able to find out who the artist was who did that, the craftsman who did that. And his name is Mitch Ryerson. So again, for those who are visiting, just about 200 yards down or so in the clearing down there, there's a bench that we call the Wade Bench. And it inspired us with this bench here. So I want to thank Mitch for all that he did in this. And I'd also like to thank Gene is representing right now, but the Watershed Management Division of the Cambridge Water Department, who were just extremely helpful in having us do this. It was, you can't believe how easy they made it for us to do this. And so, I'm sorry?
And how much they did.
And how much they did. This is just a beautiful, I think it's a beautiful setting. It's a beautiful place, something that means a lot to us. And I'm hoping in the years to come, long after I'm gone, when people say, hey, let's meet at Fresh Pond, they'll say, where would you like to meet? They'll say, let's meet at OlgasBench. Okay, so I'm hoping that this will always be OlgasBench. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about the bench, though, because the bench is actually kind of special. This bench is made of live oak, either Georgia live oak or southern live oak. It's called a couple things. And the reason it's called live oak is because in the wintertime when most trees lose their leaves, the live oak doesn't. It's a short, squat, very thick tree with long branches, 75-foot radius, and some of the heaviest wood on earth. This wood here actually would sink. If you put this in the water, it will sink. This wood was cut for the USS Constitution. So this wood was cut over 200 years ago. In 1794, they passed Congress passed an act to build the U.S. Navy. And the USS Constitution, which was built here in Boston, at the Edmund Hart Shipyard in Boston, which is at the Constitution Wharf, if you're familiar with downtown Boston, is actually where that was. The way they would cut it, because these trees were so hard, it was such an arduous task to cut this wood, because there's the swamps in the islands of Georgia that died from malaria by cutting it, and the saws would just get dull after a passage because it's so hard. They would actually drew the ship, and they would go down knowing what pieces they would need for the ship. And so they would look at the tree and say, okay, I can cut this piece out of it. Well, this piece here was actually specifically cut for a specific piece of the Constitution. They ended up using a different piece. They didn't use these for the planks. They used other white oak and other wood for the planking on this. But this was used for the big structural members because it was so hard. This and another little note back, which was the shortened framing of the Constitution, gave it such a strong ability that it was able to withstand the cannonballs of the British, and that's why it became known as Old Ironside. The Constitution was built in, put this to, I forget, 1797, something like that. And this piece here, along with some of the other wood that was destined for Constitution, was actually in the water in Boston there in the north end where Constitution Wharf is. And when they were doing some construction down there a few years ago, they found all this wood that was in there that had been in the water for over 200 years. So this wood has been, again, doesn't float as saint, and it was in a great efficiency, a great state of preservation down there. And so when we started meeting with the Park Service here and with Mitch, he knew exactly what we did. We came out and just picked this site. And I couldn't think of a nicer bench and a nicer way to hold it and remember it. So I just would ask Scott and Paul and Mom to
I'm a weeper. So, Ramon asked me to sing a song. I want to sing. It's not Czech, it's Bulgarian. But it's the song that's good for today because it says,